All right, very good morning and welcome to this regular session that Condura basically does with the sole objective of seeing to it that our students are equipped with the right information which allows them to go to the right college. Today, I'm going to be talking about one very important document that all of you interested in going to any good college abroad would require. This document is famously known as the Statement of Purpose or SOP, but you need to also understand that various colleges call this document with different names. One very common alternate for Statement of Purpose is the personal statement. There's a big difference in the way admission process takes place in India and the way it takes place in most of the developed countries. In India, considering the number of applicants, colleges don't actually get enough time to go and review applicants' profile in depth. So most of them rely on admission tests, and if a person were to do well in the admission test, and if we are to have a decent academics, then admission is given. This denies opportunity to those students who probably have not done well in the admission test or have not done well in the previous academic years. The way the admission happens in top colleges across the world is your profile is completely read, understood, and then along with your past performance in academics and the entrance test, may that be GRE, may that be GMAT, you are then given an admit. In few cases, you might also have interviews. That is true, especially for those who are aspiring to join MBA schools, which are of global repute. But otherwise, especially when it comes to the area of masters in the field of engineering and various others, masters other than probably MBA, your admission is going to be based on what you submit to them. Now, one of the documents that you will submit as a part of your application process is the statement of purpose. In this session, I'm going to be talking about two very critical things. One, what is statement of purpose and how it should be? And two, I'm also going to be talking about common mistakes students normally do while they frame a statement of purpose and which adversely impacts their chances of getting admission. Now, before I go forward, let's understand something which I have been reiterating in every session of mine when I take on the Sundays. Every country today is tightening the screw. US will be tightening the screw further. Canada, Australia, Ireland, UK, you name the country, one thing is very clear. Getting a visa is not going to be very easy now. Now, when we go to a foreign country, our endeavor is not just to educate ourselves. Our endeavor post our education is to see that we get experience and then probably be given an opportunity to continue working there with an option of taking the PR. Now, what is going to happen is that every stage, the challenge is now increased. For example, getting an admission is the first step, getting a visa is the second. Post you finish your education, being allowed to stay back and work there is the third. Getting a work visa, which allows you to jump companies, is the fourth. And then, of course, applying for the PR and the citizenship, which is the fifth. So your business is to see to it that you fight the first battle very carefully and subsequently, of course, reiterate that fight in every subsequent battles. The first battle is getting the right admission. Getting into top schools, and top need not necessarily mean top in the country. It probably could also mean a better college than you otherwise can get without putting in immense fight. Requires you to make your application strong, and statement of purpose is a very important way in that. So let's try to understand what are the critical mistakes students do, and along the way I will also be including the aspects of what I believe should be the right statement of purpose. So I'm going to be talking from my experiences of what makes a statement of purpose exciting for a college admission committee to read and then probably offer the admission. Okay, let's try to understand one very important thing. Statement of purpose is not the only document that is reaching the admission committee. The admission committee gets all the documents that it asks for and you submit. So your academic history in terms of your mark sheet, semester wise, your degree certificate, if you've completed your degree. I'm of course here talking about masters, but it's very much valid even for people who are going for undergraduation. Your letter of recommendations, your statement of purpose, and your resume. Why do I say this? Because one of the most common mistakes I notice is that students tend to equate statement of purpose as another format of the resume. Whatever they write in the resume, they convert it in the statement of purpose. Now, that is a major mistake. What is the difference between resume and statement of purpose? Resume is a documentation of all that you have done. For example, while you are doing your undergraduate in India, you might have done projects in various areas. You might have done internship to get an exposure to various areas. But probably when you were in the junior year or senior year, you decided that, all right, let me specialize in one given area. Let us say automobile engineering. So you are a mechanical engineer, you did courses, you did internships, you did projects in various areas in like refrigeration, you did that in robotics, you also probably did it in auto. But then when you came to the final year, you decided that, look, I wish to do my master's in the area of automobile engineering. Your resume will contain everything. It means it will contain details about what you did in other areas as well. But when it comes to the statement of purpose, then the emphasis will shift. If you are applying for masters in the field of automobile engineering, what the college is interested in knowing is what have you done in this area. So unlike in the resume, where your projects in automobile engineering will be a small part of the overall thing that you have done, in the SOP, the prominence has to be highlighted because your interest is in the field of automobile engineering. Therefore, not every element of the resume will come into the statement of purpose. So, what is the statement of purpose? Statement of purpose is your proxy. So, unlike a normal scenario where you are probably interviewed, certain questions are being asked, here, interview is not there. So, when the admission committee is reading the statement of purpose, they are trying to understand you. They are trying to understand your goal. They are trying to understand whether this master's that they are offering is in line with the goal that you have. So, what should statement of purpose have? Statement of purpose should obviously talk about your goal. It should talk about what you have done towards that goal, which is where you will probably talk about what you did during your undergraduation. Maybe if there are certain elements of your 11th and 12th class which you would like to highlight to strengthen the case, then you might do so. For example, let us say you're applying for MS in data science. And you have done extremely well during your 11th and 12th, or what we call in Andhra Pradesh as intermediate in the area of mathematics. Now, is mathematics a very important prerequisite for the area of data science? Answer is yes. In such a situation, you may decide to write one sentence in your statement of purpose where you are saying that, look, I have always been consistently good in mathematics. And there you add one more statement saying that I actually secured top marks in the area of mathematics during my 12th class school ending examination. So the bottom line is you are only highlighting those elements in your SOP which is strengthening your case for an admission for a particular program. Now, in this case, you will notice your resume will probably not capture your maths marks. It will probably capture your intermediate level overall marks. But they are not interested in how much you got in Sanskrit, for example. They're interested in maths. They're not interested in how much you probably got in chemistry. They're interested in maths. So resume will not be able to capture that, but SOP will give you an opportunity for you to highlight that. So SOP is something that is something very specific to what they need. All right. Now, quite often I have seen students, as I said, replicate the resume. In doing so, they reduce the emphasis on what the college wants. Let me cite an example. I often look at the SOPs drafted by students and I notice the fact that they write one paragraph on extracurricular activities. Now, how relevant are extracurricular activities to define your personality? Very relevant. But how relevant are extracurricular activities, for the examiner, for the person who is reading your application? Probably not as much. So if you look at an SOP that is written for an MBA, where they are interested in multiple dimensions, yes, extracurricular activities are critical. But when you are applying, let us say for a PhD, they are not bothered about what you have done to the society. They are not bothered about what you have done in the sports. They are only bothered about what have you done in the area of research. Do you have the ability to, take the research problem forward, find a solution? So what you will emphasize in the SOP has to be in line with what program you're going for. Now, most of you people probably are going to apply for MS program. In that case, again, the emphasis has to be more on the academic side and the research side rather than extracurricular activities. Does that mean extracurricular activities will not be captured as a part of your application process? No, it of course will be captured, but that will be captured in the resume. Don't forget the fact that they are also having resume as a part of the whole thing. All right. So statement of purpose is a very important document. Don't try to put everything there. Know what is relevant, what is something that you need to reinforce, and that is the element that should go to the SOP. Second mistake. People normally think that SOP is a demonstration of their English skills. So I've seen students use high level English. Quite often when I'm reading an SOP, my mind starts saying, wow, English is good. That is not the purpose. The purpose should have been, wow, the profile is good. So I normally, even when I write my SOPs, I see to it the language is basic, but the storyline is there. So when someone is reading the SOP, it should be something that is simple to read and simple to understand. Let's not forget, if I am a member of the admission committee, in a given day, I probably will look at 50 to 100 profiles, which means I'm going to actually be reading 50 to 100 SOPs. Now imagine the fact that I get an SOP reading which, I find the English to be very flowery or English to be very high level, I'm going to be turned off. So please don't demonstrate your language skills there. Yes, language has to be right, but vocabulary need not be very heavy. Let's not forget colleges can get to know your language skills by looking at your English proficiency test. May that be through your TOEFL examination, IELTS examination, PT examination, or Duolingo examination. So that those tests serve the purpose to highlight your English proficiency. SOP is surely not for that. The third mistake people do is that the flow is not very good. Now, if you were to look at resume, everything is a discrete element, all right? So you have something on academics, you have something on your extra courses you have done, one small paragraph or bullet on the projects you have done. These are discrete elements. But SOP should be a storyline. It should be like a movie you're watching, and end of the movie, I know you, all right, because you are the hero of that movie. So when someone is reading, make it simple but connect the paragraphs. For example, when I talk about SOP, I normally start with one paragraph, which I italics it, where I talk about the goal overall and what program I'm applying for and why. Now, it's a very short paragraph. Then I talk about my academics. Now I'm talking about SOP for MS program, not an MBA program. So academic I highlight. In the academics, I mention various courses I have done. All right. And what courses is something that I'll cover shortly. I mention the courses I have done. Then I talk about my practical experience, because most of the colleges will be interested not just in what you have learned, but what you have been able to implement. Let's not forget, there are going to be course listing in your mark sheets, but I'm not going to write all the courses. I'm going to pick and choose the courses. How I'm going to pick and choose the courses, I will shortly talk about it. I then talk about projects. I then talk about internships. But if I'm going for a MS SOP, I try to see if I can give a research twist to it rather than just the application of it. Because remember, MS is more inclined towards research than MTech. I talk about then the university and the program, and I emphasize why that university and program will help me reach the goal I have. And in the end, I again reiterate this goal, but this time I'm a little more specific about the goal. What does it mean? In the first paragraph, I might probably say my goal is to evolve as a tech leader solving real time problems. Now, notice this is more a global one. In the last paragraph, I would normally talk about the fact that I'm excited about the developments that are happening in India. I would like to come back to India, be a part of certain companies, develop certain things, take leadership. So I'm being a little more specific. And the beauty is, I'm keeping in mind one more very important requirement, that of visa. Now, I know for a fact that when you're going for the visa, you need to tell them that you will come back to India. So, guess what? I'm building one story, both for the college and for the visa. I'm telling the college that after my master's and probably getting a bit of experience, I'm going to come back. All right. Now, will that actually happen? Probably no. But give the college what they want. That's the whole mantra here, right? So, this is what an SOP flow has to be. So when someone is reading it, there's a degree of clarity. Remember, when I talk about internship, I'm talking about projects. I might not highlight all internship and all projects which are highlighted in the resume. I just told you that I'll only pick those projects and those internships which I know are relevant for the program which I'm applying. So which one to select is very, very important because the college is interested in knowing your readiness for masters in that particular program. Now, probably a few of you have not understood this. I will be now taking real examples to make you understand. I'm not going to show you any SOP. I'm actually going to be sharing with you what colleges mention in their website. Now, do remember the right way you should have done is very simple. Let us say you are interested in MS in data science program in a particular college. You should have gone to the website, gone to the program, read through everything, including what they are interested in. So all colleges tend to talk about what they want. So if we do our research, we will know what a particular college wants. And if we are covering that in our statement of purpose, the chances of our admit skyrockets. Now, this is where many consultants and many students fail because they don't research. For them, a SOP is something, a common document that can be given to all the colleges. Now, that is not true. And to prove that, I'm going to be sharing with you a database that we have. My team, we have a special team which focuses only on updating the database every time. So let me share the screen and show you what colleges provide in the public domain, which means you have that information in your hand, except you have not done your homework. All right. So let me share the screen. All right. You probably are able to look at this screen of us. This is the database that Condura has. This is a database that Condura keeps updating. Our database has a listing of all the colleges, various programs, what the requirements are in terms of how much is the DT required, whether the TOEFL is required or not, whether the college looks for subsections within the TOEFL, because there are colleges which will not just look at your overall score in TOEFL, but also the subsections. There are colleges which ask for NACES, which basically is a evaluation from their country. So we capture everything. And one of the very important aspects we capture also is for a given program, for a given college, what do they want? So let's look at this. This basically list, I have just done a random search and I will show you different ones too. If you look at this, this basically comes out with a list of various programs and the colleges. So if you notice, let's talk about Nottingham Trent University. This is a university in the UK. Let's talk about a program which is MSc in management with a focus in business analytics, and one which has work placement too. Now, work placement programs are what I normally tend to encourage students to take it up because it has, internship as a part of their curriculum. Now, if you notice, every college, depending on the program, talks about their prerequisites. So if I were to look at it, for example, let's look at University of Birmingham. For its advanced engineering management, it says I need programs which are focused on certain things. All right. For example, in nutritional science, it mentions I'm interested in those people who have taken courses to do with nutrition assessment, advanced nutrition, community nutrition. So if you look at MSc in advanced computing at King's College London, which is one of the top universities in the US, in the UK, it says I'm interested in people who have done courses like statistics, natural sciences. I'm interested in people who have done, have had trigonometry, calculus, etc. Now, every college for a particular program will have what is known as prerequisites. It is very important we know those prerequisites. Why is it important? Okay, let's look at it. Now, I am a student, let's say from Gayatri Vidya Parishad, and I have done MS in computer science. Now, have I had trigonometry or calculus as a part of my curriculum? Probably yes. And that, however, came under mathematics 1. All right. I'm sure in many colleges, if you are studying there, you would have courses like maths 1, maths 2, maths 3. So if you look at the mark sheet does not say what is there under maths 1. Okay. But the college is interested in people who have done calculus. College is interested in people who have done linear algebra. Now, when they look at the mark sheet, they don't know because unfortunately, the title of the subject is different. So it's your responsibility to tell the college, look, I have done that. Now, where do you do that? That is where statement of purpose becomes important. So in statement of purpose, while you are defining your curriculum, you would actually highlight those subjects which you know are important prerequisites for a particular program in a particular college. By doing so, you are facilitating the decision making of the admission committee. So when I am writing subjects in the SOP, the subjects are taken from the prerequisites. Understand the prerequisites might differ from college to college. The lower the college you come to in terms of academic rigor and ranking, lesser the prerequisites. But when you want to go to top colleges, they are very specific about what they want. So it's our responsibility when we submit the statement of purpose to this top college, we are telling them, look, I have covered these. Now, this is where the subjects that you talk about will differ. But that's not the only interesting thing. Notice something else. If you were to look at this program, if you were to look at this King's College, they do not call SOP as SOP. They call it as personal statement. Now, normally, what have I seen kids do? Normally, I have seen kids, what they tend to do is they have one statement of purpose, they go on changing the name of the college and then they post that. Now, here you're going to fail because the moment, let's say, I'm an admission committee member of the King's College London, I open the document. On the top, I do not see personal statement written, I see statement of purpose written. And the first thing I immediately know is, now, this is not a document that you've created for this college, this is a generic document. And the moment you do so, you lose out on your chances of getting into top colleges because top colleges are a little more finicky. They want people who have done their homework. Now, notice something else. Now, remember all these things my team has actually taken from their website. So this is there in the public domain. The only thing is they take it and give it to me because it becomes easier for me to use this while I'm framing the SOP or checking my students' SOP. Now, what does King's College London talk about? It says, it is interested in SOP. You must answer the following 3 questions. All right. Why are you applying for this specific program? How does it fit in your future plans? And it says 250 words. How does your experience in education make you suitable? 250 words. What do you hope to contribute to the class? 250 words. So notice what is happening here. In this, what is happening is they are not interested in any SOP. They are interested in SOP in the format that they are demanding. Now, what do most of the consultants and students do? They take an SOP or create one, they leave some blanks, and depending on which college they are sending to, they only fit that. Now, such an SOP will fail for a good college like King's College London because their requirements are different from what you've assumed it to be. And what does it tell the application committee? It tells the application committee you have not done your research. And guess what will be a net impact of it? Maybe your profile is very good. Maybe you would have got admission in King's College London, but you will be denied that admission simply because you have not done your homework or you have relied on wrong advisors. Now, read the question again carefully. What does the third question say? It says, what do you hope to contribute to the computer science community and how do you envision making a positive impact during your time in this program? Notice, nowhere this college is asked, all right, tell me what have you done towards the community in terms of charity? What are your extracurricular activities? They have not asked for that. Why? Because they're not interested. But if you were to look at the King's College London's MBA program, you will notice the fact that they ask about what is your contribution to the society. So the type of questions they ask will differ from program to program. But more importantly, the critical learning for us is to understand that when you are applying for MS in computer science, they are not interested in different dimensions of yourself. They are interested in the technical dimensions of you, not your extracurricular activities, not what you're doing to the society, blah, 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 blah. So this is how we get to know, what the college is interested in. Now, let me change this. Let's put one more college. Let me take an American college. All right. Let me look at, all right, Florida Atlantic University, MS in Electrical Engineering. They specifically ask for classes like signal and digital filter design is mandatory. That means if you don't have this, they will reject your admission, whatever be your GPA. Now, there are certain classes which might not be mandatory, but if they are not mandatory, they will make it compulsory for you to take those as extra credits, which means you have to pay more money, the duration will increase. All right. So, those of you who are interested in MS in computer engineering for the same college, they are going to be interested in various other subjects like microprocessor systems, computer architecture. So the point I'm trying to highlight is get to know what they want. And this is a classic mistakes students tend to do. Now, one more problem that happens is quite often students are not aware that colleges could be very, very different too. For example, if you were to look at universities, Michigan State University. Now, there are universities which ask not just for the statement of purpose, they also ask for one more essay, what is known as diversity essay. What is this diversity essay? Diversity essay is nothing to do with your academics, it's to do with you. It's how are you going to be different? Why do these colleges ask for diversity essay? Because in their class, they have a quota. They want people from different diversities coming in. So maybe you come from economically challenged family. Maybe you come from a family which is, the parents have split. Maybe you come from a family where you have stayed in multiple states, got exposure to multiple cultures. So this is an opportunity for you to look deep into your background and showcase that. So here what is happening, you are sending two different documents. Both of them are a part of application process. One is a statement of purpose, which will talk about your knowledge side of it. The other is a diversity statement, which talks about your family side of it. Quite often, I have seen students not give enough weightage for the second document, and I have seen consultants who don't even collect the second document. They just frame a few sentences and drop it. In that process, they are actually hurting the chances of students to get it because diversity is obviously given weightage by these colleges. Otherwise, why the hell are they going to ask for a diversity essay, which they finally have to review, read, and then evaluate? All right. So this is also something that you need to know. Let me take one more. I am now taking one other US university. Let me talk about university. In this case is the New York University. One of my students wishes to go for that. She's a Hyderabad-based student, UX UI design. Now understand what is this. UX UI design and development, maybe you are interested in. And who are you? You are a student who has done a bachelor's in computer science. But this college specifically says that the prerequisite I need is a degree that is bachelor's in fine arts or equivalent. All right, which means if you are a student who has bachelor's in computer science, there's one more student who has done bachelor's in fine arts, that person will be given preference over you. That is not to say that you will not have a chance. You might have a chance if they don't have enough applicants coming from BFA program. Now, what happens normally? People don't understand that. They are interested in UI UX. They find New York to be a good place. They look at NYIT, decent enough college. They say, let's apply. What you don't understand is your chances of conversion is going to be pathetically low because number one, number of seats for this program itself is less. Number two, there are quite a few people coming from fine arts who wish to do their masters. They don't have too many options. So guess what? They only apply to select colleges where such programs are given. And NYIT is one famous college. So you are actually competing against someone who has the right degree while you do not. So what happens in this case? I'll tell you what happened in the lady I was talking from Hyderabad. Now, this lady had done her bachelor's in computer science. However, as a part of her curriculum courses, she had done certain projects which were strongly UI UX related. And more importantly, she had developed a portfolio. So when I got in touch with the college, I was highlighting the portfolio more than the degree. Even in SOP, we were highlighting the work done rather than the degree. So in a way, the communication that we were making is, look, I might not have BFA, but I've done many aspects of BFA parallel to my bachelor's degree in computer science. So the way you frame your SOP has to take into cognizant what a particular program in a particular college demands and to somehow see whether you can be fit in that. Now remember, in this case, the requirement is very different. You are a BS student in computer science. What is required is BFA. However, by talking about the extra courses, by talking about your portfolio, we are trying to fit in. And that is also achieved through the statement of purpose. Now, in this college, if you notice, it is very specific. It says statement of purpose has to be about 300 to 500 words long. Okay. So the bottom line I'm trying to highlight is this. The most common mistakes people do is they come out with one draft of statement of purpose, and the same draft, by only changing the name of the college, is sent in the application. You think, all right, I have sent the application. You're happy with the profile you have because your GPA is good, the letter of recommendations you got was also very decent enough. But because you did not do your homework, or your advisor or consultant was not thorough enough, what happened was your application suddenly became very, very weak. Now, what I do at Condura is, depending on which college we are going for, depending on what the college wants, then the thing changes, including probably changing the name from the statement of purpose to personal statement, simply because this college does not call that document as statement of purpose, but calls it as a personal statement. SOP is extremely important. It is your proxy. You are not sitting in front of the admission committee trying to define yourself. Your SOP is doing that. So it is very important that you give due respect to the framing of SOP. Look at it from the perspective not of yours, but from the college. Understand clearly what a college needs, and remember, what the college needs will change from the program to program. And once you've understood that, give the college what it needs. And the moment you do so, it will not just improve your chances of getting admission, it will improve the chances of getting scholarship too, because you have become a more desirable student. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what is SOP, the statement of purpose. I have seen also students write 2-page SOPs. Please refrain from that. It should be short. In many cases, of course, colleges give you the word limit, like I showed you. NYIT specifically mentions about 300 to 500 words. I've seen students write 3 pages SOP. Just because you write long does not make your profile more desirable. Quite often, to the contrary, it only showcases the fact that you have not done your research, your homework. And that is a very dangerous thing to show to a college. It's not a strength. It's a weakness. Either way, each every Sunday, I take up a session on a particular topic. Please make it a point to join me in these sessions because, as I keep saying, educating yourself will help you make your profile stronger. It will help you make your application stronger, and it will improve the chances not just of getting an admission to a good college, but also win you the scholarship, assistantship. It will also help you improve the chances of visa, and therefore it's very essential that you know it. All right. So these knowledge sessions, I do it every Sunday at 10 a.m. through this new YouTube channel. So please make it a point to join. And that goes without saying, do make it a point to subscribe to this channel so that you get to know of this as and when I do so. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. All of you who have joined in, have a great Sunday. And I hope you will take these insights which I have provided you, incorporate that in your document. But of course, if you are a Kondira student, then you don't need to worry too much about it because I do the initial draft sitting with you people. So, but it's a good thing to learn so that your application is actually a strong application. Take care. Thank you so much and have a great Sunday.